It's Friday, December 8th, and Wednesday I bought myself and my family a brand new menorah, a big one, a large one that I could put in the window. Electric, no candles, because I didn't want to take a chance on burning the house down. And the reason that I bought this menorah is because I am a Jew, and I am proud to be a Jew. And I'm not a religious Jew, but I believe in everything that most Jews do. And so I have to have this menorah that I can place in my window and show the anti-Semites in the world that we exist. And we exist for a reason. And we do good things for the world. Many more good things than most races have done to this world. And so it bothers me when I read stories about those in power, people who are presidents of universities, who don't stand up, claiming that the hate speech that has gone on in their institutions is a product of freedom of speech. Well, if it's a product of freedom of speech, you also have the freedom of speech to condemn those evil thoughts that are being spewed by our young generation, who really haven't done their homework and don't understand the history of the Jewish people and the history of anti-Semitism around the world. So anti-Semitism continued to rise, and people in authority continue to be stum. And it's going to take a lot of work to make those people in authority understand what their responsibility is. They can't stand behind this freedom of speech and allow it to be hate speech. They have to stand up and say, we don't agree with this. This is wrong. You have the wrong idea. Get out there and do your homework. Do your history. Understand why the situation about Jews is what it is today. So, on Tuesday, something good happened. Elizabeth McGill, the president of the University of Pennsylvania, had testified at a congressional hearing about campus anti-Semitism. And the state's Democratic governor said that she had failed to speak and act with moral clarity, and he made an implicit call for her removal from her job as the president of the University of Pennsylvania. In her remarks, McGill refused to directly answer pointed questions about whether students calling for the genocide of Jews violated Penn's code of conduct. So Governor Josh Shapiro told reporters on Wednesday that McGill's evasiveness was absolutely shameful and unacceptable. And he added that Penn's Board of Trustees has a serious decision to make. And maybe if they make the correct decision and fire her ass, then people will wake up and understand that while there is free speech, there's free speech on both sides. And maybe even if there's free speech and you might agree with it, if it's hate speech, you still have a responsibility to step forward and tell people what it really is. McGill wasn't the only one testifying at this hearing. Sally Kornbluth and Claudine Gay, the presidents of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Harvard University, respectively, were at this Republican-led House Committee on Education and Workforce. Now remember the word, I said Republican House Committee. And the committee had demanded that these three leaders answer for their actions with respect to the protests that were going on their campuses in the middle of the Israeli-Hamas war. And that's according to a news release. So late on Wednesday, McGill issued a video statement about her comments. In that moment that these children were speaking, I was focused on our university's long-standing policies, aligned with the U.S. Constitution, which say that speech alone is not punishable. I was not focused on, and I should have been, on the irrefutable fact that a call for genocide of the Jewish people is a call for some of the most terrible violence human beings can perpetrate. Well, she was asleep at the switch. And I don't think anybody would condemn her even if she agreed with those students, as long as she spoke out against the idea. Freedom of speech is a wonderful thing, but there's a counter to all freedom of speech. A single idea is not the answer when one has voiced hate. One cannot condone that. So yes, you are free to speak it, but recognize the fact that there are others who are free to condemn you for it, or attempt to straighten you out, make you realize why you have said those improper things, whatever they may be. So when the president of Pennsylvania University was asked a simple question: does calling for genocide of the Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Give me a yes or no answer. And she couldn't give a yes or no answer. She couldn't give a single word answer. She proceeded with a litany of answers, but a simple yes or no was what was required, and McGill ducked that. So does she deserve to continue to be the president of a university? I don't think so. So when I look at this situation, freedom of speech is not really the answer. One must be held responsible for what one says and the meaning of what is being said. And hate is not, in my mind, an excuse for freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means we are going to give content and clarity to situation. Hate and violence should not be considered freedom of speech. You have a problem to solve. Murder is not a solution. Genocide is not a solution. Racial epithets are not solutions to our problem. You can speak your mind, but you must speak it intelligently. And that seems to be a major failure in the Israeli protests. That is why we're looking at those as anti-Semitism, hate in its most violent form. And people must recognize that that's what they are doing, that they are perpetrating a crime, and they deserve to be punished. And so these university presidents deserve to be punished for allowing the speech to go on their campus uncontested. If they had allowed it and said and contested it, then they would be off the hook in my mind. So I leave you with those horrible thoughts today. Have a great day. Bye.